Greetings, blessed love, welcome, wagwan, to Nestalin. Welcome to a very special episode of I Reason podcast with me, Sinai Flary, and my co-host, Mr. Asher Heights.
Blazing, give thanks again, people.
Yes, so we are here to give you a very special episode of I Reason. It's a review show, which means we'll be running down everything that happened in the world of reggae, dancehall, Caribbean culture. I as a community, as black people, and also the Rastafari community as well. So yeah, we got a review show coming right now. We're going to run down 2019 as we get ready to enter 2020.
Let's go.
But before we start, Asha, how was 2019 for you?
2019. The year started off very, 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 very optimistic and promising because remember I said I was preparing to go to Africa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's like leaving 2018, going into 19 is like a nice high vibes for you because I was on cloud 9 anticipating going to Mama Africa for the first time, singing for high people and the whole vibes. You get me? I said, so yeah, starting off the year was lovely and it's like all the way through, I'm not going to really complain and doubt and say about things were negative. No, the real way, it was lovely. And it has been lovely and it's going lovely because we still have a couple more strong, right?
Yeah.
And it's still going lovely. So right now, it's why I'm here the way. I remember for a long time because there's so much things that happen in that area where really and really significant. I'm gonna give thanks. Like what do you call it again? Stones. Sorry, not call them thing there. The sign of them say.
Stones.
Yeah, it's like when I reach landmark. That's
a landmark.
Yeah.
Stones. Where you get
It's like basically lots of landmark happenings happen that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give thanks to that because. You know, and every year we can say, boy, you know that era was very fruitful and, you know what I mean? But this year was very fruitful and I can say that. I'm going to give thanks to that.
That's really good to hear because I feel like 2019, I don't know for like a lot of people, but I know for myself personally, I feel like this was like a defining year for me. Like I kind of made so much progress, not just personally as a person, like things that you've always wanted to do, maybe, you know, improve your diet or try and fit exercise in on more of a regular basis. I felt like this year, personally and professionally, everything finally aligned. Because I've had years before where, say, my personal life might have been on point, but then professionally, you know, I might have just had a baby, so I might have not been, you know, pushing my career as much. Whereas this year, it's been like both have kind of been almost like competing with each other. True. Every time something personal, like for example, like with my fitness, I've been on my fitness, working out and stuff. I'll be like, all right, I've done 5 laps around the park non-stop. And then the next week, be like, oh, I've done 6. And then at the same time as I'm making that personal progress, things were happening in my career as well. Like doors were opening and opportunities were presenting itself that I didn't even think about, anticipate, and I was like, "Raw, hold on, everything is coming full circle." So for me, without going on too much, this was a defining year for me, a great year for me personally and professionally. And yeah, man, I give thanks and I'm looking forward to building on this year next year.
But, give thanks.
Yeah, man. So
give thanks.
Also, want to say big thank you to everybody who's been following the podcast and listening to the podcast and sharing it. If you want to get in touch with us, you can follow us on social media. So that's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at I Reason Podcast. That's I Reason Podcast. If you want to send us an email with feedback or, you know, topics you want us to discuss, you can send them to INI-Reason@gmail.com. That's INI-Reason@gmail.com. And don't forget to use the hashtag on all social media, INI Podcast. And we'll see your messages. All right, let's start the review.
Let's do it.
All right, so in January,
yes, I.
As we're Rasta people, we're going to be saying the traditional English names for the months, but we're also going to be using the 12 tribes of Israel names as well. So in the month of January, which is the Naphtali tribe, big up all the Naphthalis, Lutan Fyah and Fanta Moja performed in the Gambia for the Afro Diaspora concert. So that was a good look. It was nice to see a lot of Jamaican and reggae artists touch the continent of Africa to perform. I felt like this year there was a lot of that, and it was really, really good to see.
I know.
Also in January, Naphtali month, Buju Banton launched the Buju Banton Foundation. And the foundation was established to ensure at-risk youths who age from newborn to 20 years old have equal opportunities to success through skills training and educational developments. Now, that was one of the major announcements Buju made since his release from prison in December the year before. So that's a good look. And what else happened in January? Let's take a look. The world remembered Martin Luther King, who would have been 90 years old on the 15th of January. So I know a lot of people had special sort of celebrations in January to mark that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, history was made in January because the first all-black female team from the Caribbean to row across the Atlantic Ocean, that was Team Antigua, also known as the Island Girls. They made history by becoming the first all-black female team to do so.
Sure.
And the journey across the Atlantic Ocean was approximately 3,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, so congratulations to the Island Girls from Antigua for doing that. I remember seeing that floating across social media, and I was like, wow, like rowing, you know, like across the Atlantic Ocean, that's not like an easy task to do. So I remember seeing that and feeling really proud, because very often when we see sporting events like in the Olympics, we don't really see a lot of us doing like rowing events or sailing or canoeing. And I always have this conversation with my dad, and my dad's like, well, enough people from the Caribbean should be doing that in Africa, because you know, we're always in and out with, you know, we've got fishermen in the family.
Course,
so
beaches and things, you know.
Yeah, that was a real highlight of January. And also in January, it was the 77th Earth Day of one of Jamaica's most talented visual artists, Ras Daniel Hartman, who was a visionary actor. He was in The Harder They Come with Jimmy Cliff, and he was also a father. So he would have celebrated his 77th Earth Day in January.
Oh, good, thanks.
All right, let's go on to February, because I know you're eager.
What mean eager? What kind of eager thing?
Eager beaver.
What kind of eager thing there? So?
I'm joking. All right, so February is the month of Joseph, and it's also known as Reggae Month.
Reggae.
So there was a lot of celebrations to celebrate the music genre of reggae. Of course, it was the birthday of Dennis Emmanuel Brown, the Crown Prince of Reggae, on the 1st
Love
of
and
February.
hate. Never be friends. Oh no.
Yeah, man. So it's always nice to sort of reflect on these artists that are no longer here on their birthdays and sort of pay tribute to them.
True.
So yeah, Dennis Brown on the 1st of February. There was also Bunny Ruggs from the band Third World. His birthday was on the 6th of February. He was born in 1948, and of course he shares a birthday with the King of Reggae, Bob Marley, whose birthday it is on the 6th of February as well.
Rasta man live up, true. Dingy man don't give up. No, never.
Yeah, man. Like, nice tribute there.
Yeah.
Grow your dreams. You always can be in the mood for a Bob Marley tune still.
Always, yeah.
Yeah, so it was Reggae Month, and I know there was like loads of things on local radio stations. There was loads of tribute events happening around London to these artists. So it's nice to see people are still remembering them and keeping their legacy alive. And then also on the 5th of February, something happened. Somebody went on a dancehall independence tour of the Gambia. Reggae artist Asher Heights and Ras Imerick went on a dancehall independence tour of the Gambia, and they left the UK on the 5th of February for 2 whole weeks. So let's go into that. What was that like for you? Now, I'm always interested in these conversations, not just the musical part, because we know you're an artist, but considering it's like you've done the full triangle now. He was born in Jamaica.
Yes,
you grew up in Jamaica. You came to Babylon. You came to Babylon. You came to England, and then you finally made it back or forward
yes,
to Africa.
Yes,
of course, where our ancestors were originally taken from before we ended up in the Caribbean. So what was that whole experience like for you?
Going to Africa, I was eye-sighted. Very, very eye-sighted. Looking forward is like, couldn't wait for the day forward, couldn't wait for the plane land, couldn't wait for go see where I man been hearing all these years and imagining all these years and seeing on TV all these years and to know say yeah this is from whence I people forward from I ancestor. You get me I say? And it's like when you actually reach you anticipate a vibe, you imagine a vibe, but when you actually reach it's like something where so real you never prepare for that vibe we really go see. Both in between good and bad, you know, prepare for it. You have to just go see it for yourself and experience it for yourself, and it's life changing. And once you go, if you're really in tune with yourself, once you go, you always want to return and go forward again. And it's like the West is not good enough no more once you go. Yeah, and it was a blessed time. The people was lovely. The shows was amazing. The feed forward, the encore, everything. Just the love from the people, the peace, the environment, the green, the sunshine, the breathe, the fresh air, everything was lovely.
And then the performance side, like how did they receive your music and the whole reggae sound?
Well, from the musical side, it was something where I might never experienced before in my life as an artist. Never. When you open mouth and you start singing, it's like from them can see say and feel say, you know what you say, and them can feel what you say. The mathematical just gravitate to you and start showing the love. There was no limit to the love, and there was no like okay that's enough. No, straight cross. They might even come on stage, hug you, take your mic, want to sing with you. The whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was overwhelming, but it was a good overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was give thanks. It was a great vibes. I think every single artist, or every single one from your Africa in you, if I forward, I'm gonna say Africa.
Yeah. I think as well in this day and age, it's not enough to just take holidays to Europe and America and Florida, or even going back to the Caribbean. That's good, but I feel like in this day and age, it's so Africa's so accessible to us. It's a plane ride away, and I feel like the only way we can really get a true understanding of what Africa's like is to go there. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the time, what happens is that we. Not in the Caribbean, we have an idea of Africa from what we've heard and through music and stuff, but there's nothing like the real thing.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, so when I saw the videos, I was like, what? I was like so excited, and seeing how the people were smiling, and well, Gambia is known as the smiling coast of Africa, so you could feel the love through the videos and the photos.
And it's like the thing is when you get certain people just show you a good time because them can gain from you or get something back, them genuinely show you love. All those who have food and don't need the food from you, I show you love same way. So it's like straight across the board. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good
and
vibes.
I mean, tell our listeners what the man said to you at the airport when you and Imeric landed in the Gambia. What did he say?
Welcome home. Welcome to your mama land. Welcome home.
See, like that in itself, them kind of welcomes there. We don't get that at Heathrow.
Yeah, welcome home.
We don't get that at Heathrow or Gatwick.
No.
Yeah, man. So I'm so glad you got to embark on the Dancehall Independence Tour with you and Rasta Imeric, and you went out there on the 5th of Feb, and you was out there for 2 weeks, 2 strongs.
Yeah, man. Bless up, man. Bless up. Right. Yes, I give thanks.
And you'll be going back there soon. Or you're not saying anything?
Well, before I say anything else, I say bless up Rasta Imeric again. Bless up DJ Spital again. Bless up all the ones them way. Strengthen the vibes. And give thanks to all the strength for all the 4 gatherings and all the 4 shows. It was really great. Yeah, all the DJs them will play a part. All the promoters will play a part. Give thanks. Yeah, man. Give thanks to Love Africa. Yeah, man. See you, man, soon, very soon, man. I have to forward again. It's a must.
I have to come as well. We have to do your INI Reason podcast out there, man.
There we go, up on the beach. Why not?
Yeah, we'd have to make that happen.
Why not?
All right, but also in the month of February, the tribe of Joseph.
Joseph.
A statue of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I was unveiled in Addis Ababa. And the statue is situated outside the African Union headquarters, and it is a reminder and a tribute of the founding role that His Majesty played in the creation of the Organization of African Unity, also now known as the African Union.
African Union.
What did you make of the statue?
To be honest, until I can go to Ethiopia and go up close and go look on it for myself, I can't really give a feed forward right now. But, yeah, as far as it goes, yeah, that's all I can say right now. I not see it in person if I can give a vibe where I can say, or I feel when I see it or it look. So I'm not really going to comment too much on it like the way they get me. I say, but if it's of a good intention and a good vibes, we give thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the unveiling. I think they were posted on social media, and I thought, it was a nice touch, because I feel like, when time is passing, a lot of people, they either forget about people in history, or especially if they're not constantly reminded. Not so much for like the Rasta community, because His Majesty is forefront in our movement. It's daily. But I feel like for other people, young Ethiopians coming up, perhaps it could act as like a trigger for them to maybe go and research a bit more. So I thought the statue was a good idea. But let's see what else they have in store.
True.
Also in the month of February, Shaggy won the Grammy for the Best Reggae Album category with his album alongside Sting, 44/876. That scooped the award for the Best Reggae Album, and that was at the 61st Grammy Awards that happened this year. The other nominees in the category were Etana with her album Protege, Black Uhuru, and Ziggy Marley. All right, let's move on to the month of March for the Benjamins. So in March, what happened was Sizzla released a brand new album called Victory. So that came out in March this year. It was also the anniversary of the Battle of Adwa, which was fought on the 1st of March, 1896, between the Ethiopian Empire and Italy near the town of Adwa, Ethiopia in Tigray. So that was a special anniversary that was acknowledged this year as well. Well, every year the Battle of Adwa is acknowledged. Also, the 56 Black Men campaign, I Am Not Your Stereotype, was launched and created by Cephas Williams. So that was created to sort of, I guess, challenge the idea that when you see a black man in a hoodie, he's people get suspicious. Well, not so much our community, but outsiders, mainstream people get suspicious. So that was launched to sort of highlight that, not every black man in a hoodie, it is scary. The 56 Black Men campaign, I Am Not Your Stereotype, was created by Cephas Williams. And what else happened in March? Quite a few things. Another thing that happened actually is that the I-Trees, who were the backing singers for Bob Marley, they're made up of Judy Mowat, Rita Marley, and Marcia Griffiths. They received an iconic group award for their contribution to reggae at the Jamaica Reggae Industry Awards. And I always think that's nice as well when we acknowledge the elders in the music business who are still here, and it's time we give them their flowers while they're alive. Do you know what I mean? So that was a nice touch. Also, there was some sad news in March. There was the Ethiopian Airlines crash in which 157 people on board passed away. And that flight was taking off from Addis Ababa to Nairobi, Kenya. And I remember it was just very horrible. There was even footage from inside the plane that was released. And yeah, horrible crash. Also in March, Koffee, come in like a rapture. Everybody get capture. Koffee released her debut EP, Rapture, on the 14th of March. What else happened? History happened in March as well. it feels like, this talking about this stuff, it feels like it was a long, long time ago, even though all this stuff happened this year. History happened in March, on the 16th of March 2019.
How can I answer that?
Buju Banton created history by performing his first ever concert since his release from prison. Over 30,000 people flooded to Kingston at the National Stadium to see Buju perform, with countless internet streams and hundreds of thousands of worldwide fans. People were happy to see his return to music. So let's touch on that for a bit. I think I stayed up and tried to watch it online. I did try to get tickets when the tickets were released, but the internet was crashing, the site wasn't up. Then when I did finally get on, it said everything was sold out, so couldn't get there, but I did watch it online, and I remember it being
epic.
Epic. Like, everyone was talking about it. Buju come out in his white suit, and we was just glad to see him, and it was just like he'd never been away. I mean, what did you make of it?
Honestly, I watch clips of the whole. I wouldn't say I watched the whole thing. I watched clips, and for the clips that I man say was like goosebumps, and you know what I mean. It's like really I can feel the energy, even though you're the miles away and I watch through a TV screen or through a laptop screen. It's like you can feel the energy. Say, yeah, Jamaica really and truly, the world, in fact, really and truly did miss Buju Banton, and them show them love on that night. And I'm sure say him feel the love when him come out and see the energy and see the people and the whole magnitude of the crowd and lights and cameras and the whole. It's like it wasn't no quiet crowd either where it's a shh and hush. No, you can hear the feed forward, them a jump and a shout and a scream and a go on. Them happy to see man. I'm happy to see them too. So it was a nice reunion. It was really, really, really a great idea. Whoever come up with the idea of keep that there, so it was a great idea. It was fantastic, man.
Yeah. I think as well it was fitting because I think when the first show that was announced wasn't a Jamaica show, I think it was the Trinidad show that was announced first. And then I was thinking, no, he needs to perform first, like where he was born, where he lives, for his people first, and then then everybody else can sort of get a piece of Buju. So I remember a lot of Jamaican people were a bit upset because it was announced that the first show would be in Trinidad. But in fact, it wasn't the first show. It was just that one was released first. So, yeah, I was happy to see it, man. I was just like glued to the internet, my phone, and see it. I knew a couple of people who did go, and they were just like, look, I'm never ever going to forget that. It was just that good.
Can see, so it was memorable,
Yeah, and then we know from there he did go on to go to other Caribbean islands as well. He performed in Barbados, Trinidad. He touched down Grenada, Greens. Where else did he go? He went to St. Kitts, I do believe. Guyana. He was in Guyana. He did quite a few stops in the Caribbean, and then I do know now he's heading to Kenya at the end of this month. So he's going to be in Africa. I don't know for how long, but I do know there's a Kenya date at the end of December, and he did a few spots in Europe as well. So yeah, man, it's nice to see Buju back on the live stage, and it kind of just cemented his place. Like, he didn't come back out and be like, okay, he can't perform or he's not as fit as he used to be. He just really took time out and it's like he's never been away.
When the space was void anyway.
Yeah.
There was no one in it. So
true.
He just come slot right back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, straight.
Yeah, man. So welcome forward, Buju Banton. And then also in the same month, March, we had some bad news for the Rastafari community in London and Britain, that our beloved Sister Walletti, had passed away. That came as a shock. So very, very sad about that. I always remember her in the bingies as a child. And Rastafari. She was always one of the sisters that was just always like so vibrant, so much energy. She would be like, come on, you're not singing, you're not dancing, get up. She was just like, I really, really loved her vibes.
I remember.
Yeah, full of vibes, full of energy. And man, we miss her dearly. You know, she had this kind of warrior spirit.
Yes, sir.
You know, and she'd been there for, I don't know how long. I'm in my 30s, and I remember her from the Simba days and like the Bridge Park days. So from when I was maybe about 7, 8, I remember her in the Bingies. And then people older than me obviously probably remember her for an even longer time. So yeah, man, condolences to the family and friends of our beloved Sister Willetti. And then also in March, across stateside, there was another passing of rapper and entrepreneur and community activist Nipsey Hussle. This also came as a shock because, as we know, he wasn't sick or anything. He was actually murdered outside his shop, his clothing store in Los Angeles. So he was shot multiple times and he didn't make it.
R.I.P. Nip.
R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. So, I mean, I know where I was when I heard the news. It just sort of flashed across the TV and I was like, what? Hold on. You know, yeah, I can say, I mean, I can honestly say I didn't listen to Nipsey Hussle's music like prior to his death, but I knew who he was through his woman. So his woman is Lauren London, and you know, she's an actress I've followed and watched her movies and TV programs. So I knew like they were in a union together, but I didn't listen to any of his music, but I knew who he was, what he looked like and everything like that. After he died, I kind of went and did my own research because I was seeing comments online like, oh, this is so heartbreaking for the community and for this. And I thought, okay, this is not just like a rapper got shot and died. So I did my own research and I was just like, it made me feel extremely, extremely sad. Like somebody of his passion, somebody with his love for his community, somebody who was actively doing stuff to better his community and places he grew up. And he wasn't just talking about it, he was actively doing things, opening things.
About it, huh?
Yeah, he was being about it. He was opening these community centres. He was employing ex-prisoners. He was employing homeless people and black people who couldn't get jobs. Yeah, I just felt devastated, like, you know. And then since then, I've learned so much more about him and his activism, his family. His father is in fact from Eritrea, in East Africa, and I watched an interview with him talking about what that experience was like going back to Africa, and it just seemed like such a shame because it seems like he was on the path of doing amazing things. Well, not even on the path, he was already doing them. And it just seems like he's been snatched away from a community, from a family, from his children, just in the most horrible way. So yeah, I don't know, but as Nipsey Hussle would say, don't let all his work and all his principles die with him. As he would say, the marathon continues. Like, you know, people unite, get your money up, look after your family, look after your communities, and, you know, become much more knowledgeable of the world that's around you, and try and get your business game up as well, because he was so an advocate for black people having their own businesses and getting the money to circulate in your communities and employ your family if they can't find work. So that's what we're going to be trying to do, implement some of these things into our lives, and yeah, make sure that the marathon continues.
Sure.
Yes, so let's move on. March was kind of heavy. Let's move on to the month of April for all the Rubens.
Newborn.
Yeah, Rubens. So in April, Buju headed to Barbados to perform at the Kensington Oval on the 27th of April. Jimmy Cliff, the legend, was awarded with a street named after him in his honour. So in fact, in April, it was announced that there is now a Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Jamaica. Yes. And also, what else happened in April? Bunny Wailer, the last surviving whaler, celebrated his 72nd Earth Day on the 10th of April.
Long live the king, my lad.
Yeah, so happy birthday to Bunny Wailer, who's now 72 and still touring. Also, what else happened? Gappy Ranks released his new album called Hebrew after recovering from his stroke. So it was good to see him back in the studio and putting music out. And April, what else happened? Oh, there was heartbreak around the world. Not that kind of heartbreak. Idris Elba got married to his beautiful wife Sabrina. So they got married in Morocco. And yeah, I saw a lot of women.
Congratulations.
Yeah, being a bit sad, but congratulations to the beautiful couple. Also in April. Yeah, it was heavy in April as well. Film director and visionary John Singleton sadly passed away in April after it was reported he had suffered a huge stroke a couple of weeks before. And he directed some of the most influential films and music videos of all time, including the critically acclaimed Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, man.
And he made that film when he was just 23 years old. That was a shock. He also made other films like... what other films did he make? Poetic Justice, Menace to Society, Baby Boy. He also directed Shaft. I think he done one of the Fast and Furious episodes as well. So I just felt like, not John, because those films were like an important part of growing up. You know, at a time where you didn't really see a lot of black films with messages. I feel like John Singleton came along and created these films where it was just like, and you can't really get tired of watching Boys in the Hood. I think I watched it the other day and I was like, wow, this film is really good. Even though I've watched it numerous times, but as an adult watching it, you're starting to see all the hidden messages, you know, about gentrification, things that you can relate to now, like, wow, they're doing this here. Like, and John Singleton had that in this film that he released in 1991.
Yeah, real talk.
So yeah, it was very sad about that, man.
And even the black the police officer there.
What's that?
Yeah, even the officer.
Oh, when he gripped up the boy.
Yeah, that part that really, you know?
Yeah, he was showing us stuff and we didn't even we didn't even catch on. So here we go. I've got a list of his movies. So John Singleton made Boys in the Hood, and that came out in 1991. He also made Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson and Tupac.
Shaft.
That came out in 1993. He did Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson in the year 2000. He released Higher Learning in 1995. And Baby Boy 2001. Four Brothers 2005.
Tough movie, I think, Four Brothers.
Is it? I haven't seen it. I'm going to have to watch
it.
Too Fast, Too Furious 2003. A film called Abduction, 2011. Rosewood, I think that's a TV show. He directed some of the episodes. 1997.
I forgot what you were that movie. Watched 8 Mile already.
Yeah, and he's done other parts in a few other films as well. True, so man. I think he did.
Enough work, him go with, man.
Yeah, so R.I.P. to John Singleton. People go out there and watch his films, man, because there was a lot of messages in them. Especially, I think young boys should be watching Boys in the Hood to see what happens, you know, if you go down the wrong path. Also, Higher Learning was really deep. I love that film.
Yeah, Higher Learning is a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the month of May. Simeon month. My month! So, what happens in the month of May? The original ragamuffin Just Stitch passed away. And also, Fairfield House in Bath, which was the house that His Majesty Haile Selassie stayed at during his time in the UK. They launched their own radio station called Imperial Voice Radio. So congratulations to them.
Yes, sir. Give thanks.
That was in May. And also, Buju released his single Country for Sale. That was in May as well. And then we move on to